Good morning. Merry Christmas. It's a lot different up here than my back row Baptist upbringing that I usually am way back there. I'm here to talk about an outreach program, the food pantry. And in the program today, your bulletin, it has that we served 241 families in November and 477 people. And that was my first time with food pantry, was November. And it's not about handing out food, that I learned very quickly. I'm Fitz, Bickerstaff. I've been with the church, a member of the church for 15 years, and I've never worked with food pantry, and this was my first time. When God has a plan, you may not think you can follow. Just know that there will be rewards at the end that you cannot imagine. It all started with me at our dear friend James Wade's funeral. A member of the church approached me before James's funeral and asked if I would serve at the food pantry. With me being in this setting, instead of asking 50 questions and still saying no, I could only ask 2, when and how long. I agreed that one day a month was pretty easy for my schedule. I believed that James had a hand in this venture for me because he always said he was praying for me every Wednesday night when I left out the door. So sweet Ed Booth met me at the food pantry on my first day to go over my new duties at the food pantry. You see, I thought I was signing up to hand out food, and I came to realize with many emails that I had signed up to be the interviewer. Okay, I can do this. I have to ask questions, smile, and be polite. Easy, right? Well, Ed proceeds to interview the first person and asks if they had any prayer requests. Oh boy, I was getting nervous, clammy, hot. And then he asked if he could pray with them. Then I started sweating profusely. You see, I don't like to pray out loud with people. I don't mind being a prayer warrior or praying with others, but off the cuff, I'm terrible. I could hear James Wade laughing his great big laugh in heaven that he got me. So immediately I started thinking of reasons that I could come up with that I could get fired from this volunteer position. Ed told me the next person that walks through, he would put me to work. Oh boy. I fumbled and mumbled my way through the prayer, still sweating and clammy. And then I went through a few more people of interviewing. And I'll call this guy Brad. He was tall and as wide as the door frame and looked like an NFL linebacker. He walked in and we went through the routine of asking so many questions. And then it came the question of prayer request. Brad replied, "I've never thought about praying for someone." I was speechless. I let him ponder his words, and then he finally said, "We could pray for my mother." I said, "Brad, can I pray with you?" This gentle giant with his massive hands came and grabbed my hands. I must say that I prayed a prayer that I never thought I could that day. I finished and proceeded to share that it was my first day and that I really hated praying out loud. Brad said, "I wouldn't have known because I've never prayed for someone." Wow. Blow me down with a feather, God has a plan. I never thought I could experience any feeling that I was feeling at that moment. You see, God knew that he was taking out of my comfort zone. Even if he was the only person out of the 20 I saw that day, I spoke the word of Jesus Christ and showed him how to pray. Chuck talked about earlier in the 845 sermon that joy, he wants us to have joy we've never experienced. I experienced it that day at the food pantry. Brad had no idea what he meant to me that day. I could not get off cloud 9. And I have thought about each and every one of those people I met that day. So the bottom line is, when you're approached with something that you really feel you cannot do, put all your trust in God and know that his plan will bring many rewards.